All right, what's up everyone? We're parked outside the gym, about to head in, and I wanted to talk about some of the classic mistakes you can make when introducing anything new. So for those of you guys, obviously, first time maybe to this video, this page, I'm getting back into basketball shape, trying to go compete against maybe some professional level guys, whatever. Not necessarily NBA, but you get the point. Pursuing a goal, chasing after it. Now, I have been doing a bunch of on-court stuff. Running, jumping, sprinting, all the things that get my body ready for basketball. But I haven't actually been doing a ton of basketball. And with basketball, I'm a jump shooter, and one of the things that comes up when you shoot off the move or off speed is deceleration, rotation, into elevation. So I mean by that, if I throw a ball out on conference screen, I sprint into it, I have to stop, I have to rotate to face the hoop, and then I have to then jump up. That's a very different demand than just jumping. And it's actually quite a bit more load than you think. If you're just taking 30 jump shots, 40 jump shots, 100 jump shots, that's 100 ground contacts. Now with that, there can be a variety of intensity of those ground contacts. And in my head, for some reason, because I started these videos, I felt some pressure or maybe excitement to start doing more. And I started doing some more and more acceleration sprinting. So basically, not sprinting, shooting. I'm running into my jump shot a lot more. There's lots of options you can do when you shoot. You can shoot off the dribble, you can stand still and shoot, you can have small footwork adjustments, or you can just do high velocity stuff. And I started off by doing a little bit of high velocity stuff and more high velocity stuff, and probably too much. And next thing you know, I'm dealing with a little bit of some aches and pains. And this is something I've had athletes encounter time and time again. And as coaches, we don't ever appreciate this as strength coaches, and it's so stupid of us at times, that is a large form of loading. In my workout, I might only do 30 jumps, but if I'm going to shoot 40 or 50 high velocity jump shots, that's a ton of loading on the ankle, knee, and hip. How you load that, by the way, can depend on how many times you shoot one direction versus the other, so you might have some asymmetrical loading. And lo and behold, you have the propensity to get into overuse injuries. So let's talk about how we possibly get around that. If I want to work on my ability to shoot a basketball, not everything has to be high velocity. There's different things that might, limit your ability to actually make a jump shot. I talked about this in the previous video. I'll outline it here. Basically, your hands, how you catch a ball can be a limiting factor. Your footwork, how fast you get your feet set. Your ability to stop and get sets, like a sprint shooting. And your ability to just make tough jump shots. So can you make an off-balance shot? Those are kind of the big ones there. Off-balance means like a defender's near you. There's an obstacle, like your feet aren't perfectly correct. You're fading away. And of those, they all have different loading properties on the body. Some of them are higher velocity, like you sprint into it and you stop. That's gonna be a lot of muscular demand and tissue demand to come to a deceleration. Versus if I'm working on just a fadeaway, or maybe my hands on a catch, or my footwork being slightly off position, that's much lower velocity. So you should ebb and flow your training. Just going all out the highest intensity, first off, is very difficult to maintain and sustain. And secondly, might not even be the best way to get better because it doesn't have that variability of those other factors. So today, I'm going to go on in the weight room first. I'm gonna get some of my power work. I'm gonna do some cleans, some shrugs, so maybe some light jumping. Not huge impact at all. I'm gonna go to the court. I'm gonna mess with some hands, some positional stuff, some footwork stuff on my jump shot. The whole of this day is a lower impact day. Now, not every day needs to be like a low impact day or a high impact day. You can have like a high impact day in the weight room and a low impact day in the court, or maybe a low impact day on the weight room and a high impact day on the court. But knowing how to modify these two and kind of use them like sliders or toggle them back and forth helps you train more consistently with more intensity. Intensity doesn't just mean maximal output of sprinting into a jump shot. It just means what I'm doing is at capacity of what I'm trying to do. So I'm not going to go in there and just shoot lazily 100 jump shots. What's the point of that? I want to shoot 100 jump shots that are intense or difficult, that challenge me to help me get better. There's lots of options I can pick to do that. In the weight room, the same exists as well. I can do stuff that's really light and move really fast, and maybe that's going to be hip dominant or knee dominant or ankle dominant or whole body dominant. And I can pick portions of my body, ankle, knee, hip dominant, maybe my whole body, and pair that with my on-court stuff so I'm not overloading the tissues to an extent that's, not able to recover. So that's how I can modify this. That's right off the bat one of the biggest takeaways is not necessarily just planning of what you're trying to accomplish and get better at, but planning the actual training to allow for progression over time. Because you're gonna feel good day 1, day 2, day 3. It's can you feel good enough day 36? Are you still making progress by constantly being able to apply a stimulus that allows for adaptation? That is the biggest takeaway, and so far the biggest learning experience that I actually do with my athletes really well, but now I understand from their standpoint why it's so difficult, because you don't really feel it. And if someone's not going to tell you what to do, unless you're super hyper aware of your body or even understand the ability to program this stuff, you're not going to make that adjustment intuitively all the time. Because naturally, as a younger hooper, I'd go out there and just shoot some easy shots now and maybe take the day off or do whatever, but that might not be the most beneficial thing because I can still get something out of today. The question is, what can I get out of it? And we're gonna do that here in a second. So I'm gonna avoid some of the court high intensity stuff. I might ebb and flow based on how I feel. I'll modify the workout. I'm gonna do some rack pulls. I'm gonna do maybe some box jumps, maybe no box jumps at all, maybe no jumping, maybe just some overspeed banded good mornings and some things like that. And if I only can do a handful of exercises, let's say all I can do are the shrug pulls and the banded good mornings, I can do that for a good amount of volume. I don't need to just do it for 3 sets or 4 sets. I can do 10 sets of it. I can still get a good training stimulus in total volume of load without having to do tons and tons and tons of different exercises. You can just do exercises really well, really intensely, and get a lot out of it. So same goes for the court as well. Keep that in mind. I'm gonna go and get my workout in here in a second. I hope that makes sense, because that is off the bat the biggest takeaway. And I'll continue to share this kind of stuff with you. I have some stuff on overtraining and readiness and fatigue I wanna talk about, but I'll do that in a separate video. And then I also wanna talk a little bit about nutrition, post-workout, pre-workout, intra-workout stuff, rest times, and I'll do that in another video as well. But these are some big takeaways off the bat. So modulating and modifying your training, high, low, medium, on-court stuff in conjunction with your skill. So it takes time to actually identify the skill work you're doing, what are the loading of the skill work, what's the loading of the weight room, and how you pair that all together to actually make progress toward your goals. So I appreciate you guys listening. I hope you enjoy as always. Take care.